You think you're done with equations of lines? Well, just kidding, you're not, okay? So you're going to need equations of lines throughout this entire course from beginning to start. So there are two common ways to write the equation of a line. There's your y equals mx plus b. So let's say something like this, where m represents your slope. So your slope is just your rise over run. So if you pick 2 points, you want to figure out what your rise and your run is, meaning how far did you have to go up, the change in y, dividing by how far you have to go across, the change in x. Remember, when you're reading a graph, just like writing in English, we always go left to right. Okay, so read a graph left to right. Always, always, always. I don't care what math class you're taking, read the graph left to right. So for example, if I'm going from this point 1 to this point 2, am I going up or am I going down? Well, I'm reading left to right, so I'm going up. Okay, oops, that's a 2. All right, so we're not going down, we're going up. Okay, and the point B corresponds to my y-intercept. So wherever it crosses the y-axis, that's the point 0b. There is another form that is really common when it comes to writing equations of lines, and I much prefer this one because it's easier to work with in my opinion. And that is y minus y0, or y naught, some people read this as y naught or y0, equals m times x minus x0 or x naught. M is the same thing. M is your rise over run. So again, if you draw a line, let's say this time you have this, m is your rise, so going from one point to the next. Are you going up or are you going down? And then your run, okay? And x naught, y naught, or x0, y0 is any point on the line. So it doesn't have to be a y-intercept, x-intercept, it's just any point x0, y0 that is on the line, okay? When you're coming up with lines, there's this terminology that's really important, and I'll mention it later on too, but we can talk about something called the normal line. Okay, so the normal line to the line y equals mx plus b, or y minus y0 equals m times x minus x0, is a line that is perpendicular to it. So the word normal means perpendicular, which is 90 degrees. Okay, so if the line y equals mx plus b has a slope of m, then the line that is normal to it is going to have a perpendicular slope, and that's going to be negative 1 over m. So that is called a negative reciprocal slope. So you'll hear these words from your teacher from this course throughout the entire thing, okay? So if you have a slope m and you want something that's perpendicular, you put 1 over that number and then make it a negative. So if it's negative, it turns into a positive. If it's a positive, it turns into a negative. Let's take a look at an example here. We want to find the equation of a line that passes through a point and is parallel to this line. That's part A. Okay, so since it's parallel, I know it means that it has to have the same slope. That's what parallel means, right? So let's go ahead and find the slope of this line. 3x minus 4y equals 5. I'm going to rearrange into y equals mx plus b. So I'm first going to move this 3x over, meaning I subtract 3x. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 4. So I get y equals negative 5 over 4. 2 negatives make a positive, 3 over 4x. So y equals mx plus b, meaning my slope is the number in front of x. It's a positive 3 over 4. Okay, so in part A, if I want a line that is parallel to this and passes through the point 1, 0, I'm going to use my favorite formula, which is y minus y0 equals slope times x minus x0. If you like y equals mx plus b, go for it. So now y minus the y point, which is 0, equals the slope times x minus, just scroll down a bit, the x point, which is 1. And then here I can simplify. So we get y equals 3/4 x minus 3/4. This is the line that passes through the point 1, 0 and is parallel to our line in A. Okay, part B, let's see what they're asking. Part B, we want the line, again, to pass through this point 1, 0, but we want it to be perpendicular to the line this time. So if it's perpendicular, what do we know about the slopes? Ding, 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 it's going to be perpendicular, right? So we want our slope to be perpendicular, meaning it's going to be the negative reciprocal. So I'm going to take my number, my slope, and put it 1 over that. And I'm going to make it negative since it's positive to start off. So this is negative 4/3 is the slope of the line that we want. So putting this into the equation, y minus y0 equals the slope times x minus x0. So we get y equals negative 4/3 x. Two negatives make a positive, so I have plus 4/3. And that's the equation for part B.